Hello amigos, Mark Major here, and I am at the Action Figuratorium. This is where I do sort of my work as well as customizations. Recently I've been doing a series where I've been taking these World War II Joy Toy action figures in the 1/18th scale, and I've been sort of mixing them with some Star Wars vehicles and figures, repainting them to kind of make this sort of alternate universe dieselpunk kind of realm. And today we're going to be doing something similar. I'm going to be taking a small AT-AT and we're going to make it look like a type of kind of robotic pack mule. And we're actually going to set it up so that a guy can ride it. So this should be kind of cool, and I'd love it if you guys stick around. Where to begin? Let's begin at the beginning. So here is my subject. This is the AT-AT I'm going to be using. This, by the way, is actually a Transformers crossover toy. There are small AT-ATs this size you can get from both Galoob in the 90s under the series called Microfleet, and there are some newer ones today made by Hot Wheels that are small die-cast ones. The Galoob ones actually have articulated legs on them and they can move, and in fact they made one that has a wire tethered to it with a remote, and it supposedly walks. I think I'm going to maybe get one of these in the future after I've bought plenty of other stuff and have customized it. But this is the dog that we're going to be working with here. We are going to make it look like it's a type of robotic pack mule. And so we're going to give it a kind of a blue-gray color to match this Panzer tank that I have. It's a remote-controlled Hang Long Panzer III. It's actually 1/16th scale, but it looks really close to the right scale for these Joy Toy action figures. And so the color I'm going for is essentially an attempt to match that. So here is me mixing, and for this I have used Citadel Color Stormfang, which you can find at most places, if not your local hobby store. You can get them online. It's not difficult to track down Citadel paints. And I add a little bit of black to it, matte black, doesn't matter which brand. You can use the cheap dollar store stuff. There is the tank that I am matching the color to, and you can see the color of the tank, the color brush. I've gotten really close, and it's pretty easy with this Citadel color and a little bit of black to match that every time. So here we go. This is me painting the AT-AT this color, and I'm using a pretty thick, gnarly brush, and I'm just kind of slamming it against the surface of it, trying to get in all the little cracks, of which, you know, these guys are really well made. The outsides of these toys have a lot of detail on them. They're pretty cool. So here's what it looks like painted. You can see the tank in the background. Who doesn't like that? For those of you into this kind of World War II gonzo militarism, this is your dog. So this is with the first coat. I just try and get it on as quickly as possible before the paint dries in the bucket. This is my second coat. Probably doesn't look that different on this video, but I go through after I paint it one time. I go through and I look for all the spots I missed, especially underneath. They're tough to get. Okay, so then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add camouflage to this. Now for me, I am just going to put it only on the legs. I think it's cool to just camo the legs. Some people suggest that maybe I should do the whole thing, and you might be right, but I'm not going to. I just got a thing where I feel like it looks more realistic if you only camouflage the legs on this dog. I don't know why I feel that. It's one of those hits I'm getting. And I made this with that paint by taking a military green and I added a little bit of blue to it. And I might have, you know, it was like an olive green. I added a little bit of bright blue and maybe a little bit of either like a gray or a black in there to just kind of darken it to take the blue down. But that is essentially the camo on the legs. Next video here is after you have finished painting it, you want to hit it with a clear finish so that you can then put some decals on it. Now on the one side I put an emblem that I got off of decals for like a World War II airplane, so it's some airplane company, but no one knows. And I put a little black cross on it. And this side I put the much larger sort of what's known as the Iron Cross, the one that goes up that. It looks like that sort of skateboarding company's logo. And the number 4 just happened to have a number on it. There's a Joy Toy figure with them. This smaller cross that I put on, it actually got scuffed at some point while I was making this. And I ended up just scratching it off and redoing it. So we'll look at the finished product when we get to that. The next one here is I have added a dark wash to it to just try to make it look dirty and make all the details pop. When I do these dark washes, I'm generally overdoing it, I've noticed. I go a little bit ham. I've been trying to back off on it because it really darkens it up. But one of the things that I preach about is if you're doing painting and you're going to put a dark wash on, you can then go into your original subject a little brighter. You can use a little brighter paint knowing that you're going to mute it by putting the wash over it. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at what this thing is going to look like with the rider on it. This guy is a Star Wars action figure. I think he's from Revenge of the Sith. He's some kind of a lava miner, and he comes with these really weird spread legs. He does stand up, but he's supposed to be shoveling lava. I got him in a bag of action figures I bought, and he just, for some reason, really just wants to sit down. Now, there's a little kind of a flap on the back that prevents him from kind of sitting. I eventually took a scissors and I did clip that off so he can sit. Now, the next thing after you get this far is you want to start customizing it by putting a bunch of kit on it. I've taken a bandage, gauze, like get a first aid kit, and I dyed it in some, soaked it in some coffee. So it wasn't white, so it was darkened up, and then I threw some just random barrels in there, as well as tied a bucket on the end. You can see that this is kind of where, you know, you want to start adding ropes, shovels, buckets, saddlebags, a saddle. And so now we're going to cut over live to the finished project on my subject cam. Here we are, checking it out, and this is what it officially came out as. I have added a little piece of suede for a saddle for the guy. I clipped the back so he can sit down. Of course, I have the red and black plugs from a stereo I own. Is his way of controlling it. There's like a little kind of a bag, pouch, shoulder bag hanging off. We just threw some kind of necessary accessories on the back. There's the little bucket. There's like a wagon wheel. I eventually ended up taking it's plastic, but it's supposed to be like a wooden crate. It was bright yellow. I painted it brown. That's the thing that's sitting in there. You can't really see it too well in this shot, but it's got that. There's also some barrels behind the rider, and I took a little bit of twine and did a figure eight and made it look like it's a bundle of rope sort of hanging off this. I'm going to call this the Maultier, because that is the German word for mule. And so basically the idea is this thing is used for just transporting ammo and supplies, and that there's a guy who kind of drives it. You can also see that I took like a little kind of canister that came off of a random odd piece from a transformer. I think that's like an Optimus Prime piece on it. And then I took a guitar string, heated it up, and poked it through to use as an antenna. Of course, you can always paint your guitar strings up. I painted this guy black so it would just look a little bit more antenna to me, and that you could definitely see this thing sticking up versus if I kept it silver, it might have a kind of a silver finish and maybe kind of hard to detect. So that is the finished dog, and it's just another funny piece to add into this sort of dieselpunk Star Wars crossover that I'm working on. I've got some really fantastic Soviet designs that I'm doing as well. I've got a troop transport that I'm going to be working on to make into this Red Star Army transport. It's going to be cool. There's also these dollar store figures, Final Faction. I've been repainting them. Half of them I paint to look like the German guys, the other half like this guy. They join the Soviets. If you want to check out this ongoing war between the Germans and the Soviets, you can go over to my Instagram account, Action Figuratorium, and you'll see that I have a series called Gangs of Stalingrad 2023, in which these guys are finding it out in mini-marts and McDonald's and things like that, and they're using all sorts of Star Wars vehicles like speeder bikes and interceptors as part of their army. It's all a big hoot. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy this sort of like alternate history mashup kind of things, and they're supposed to have a sense of goofiness to them as well. They're supposed to be, you know, a bit on the lighthearted side, and you shouldn't take it really too seriously. It's just meant to be sort of visually enjoyed. So with that, I thank everybody who made it this far in the video. I know these are challenging when there's like a weird autistic guy talking to you. It's tough, I agree. I have a hard time watching these videos myself. So I really do thank you guys for making it this far, and I will catch everybody on the next one.